Chiricahua National Monument is a wonderland of rocks here in southeastern Arizona. This nearly 12,000-acre monument was set aside in 1924 by President Calvin Coolidge to protect the amazing balanced rocks and pinnacles. They have a very violent volcanic history with the eruption of the Turkey Creek volcano 27 million years ago. The volcano was erupting in a gigantic ash eruption, very much like Mount St. Helens in Washington back in 1980. So this whole region was covered with layers of ash. Here closest to the volcano, the layers were almost 2,000 feet deep. That was the first part of the volcanic activity. The second chapter were the nube ardientes, or pyroclastic flows. These are huge clouds of ash and gas that came billowing down the sides of the volcano. They're very hot and they're very fast. So if anything was left standing after the direct ash fallout, it was wiped out by these nube ardientes. Finally, so much material was blown out of the volcano that the top collapsed, forming the gigantic caldera, an estimated 12 miles across and 5,000 feet deep. As that ash and other rock debris settled, the material was still so hot that it melted or welded together, creating the wonderful rock that's known as rhyolite. As the rhyolite was cooling, it started cracking and jointing. There was also some uplift, forming the next stage of the Chiricahua Mountains. Now we're ready for the carving that was done primarily by ice and water 10,000 years ago. Water seeped into those cracks, froze, expanded, and melted. That cycle was repeated millions of times, and because not all areas of the ash were welded together at the same rates, the loose material washed away, leaving the spires that we enjoy. Besides the amazing geology of Chiricahua National Monument, you're at a crossroads for plants and animals from 4 very different ecosystems. Not only the Rocky Mountains to the north, but Mexico's Sierra Madre Mountains, the Sonoran Desert to the southwest, and the Chihuahuan Desert to the southeast. Behind me lies Cochise Head, one of the dramatic natural landmarks here in Cochise County. He was one of the most important leaders of the Chiricahua Apaches, who considered all of southeastern Arizona their homeland. Fargo Ranch was the home of Neil and Emma Erickson, classic immigrants, this time from Sweden, who raised 3 children here, Lillian, Ben, and Hildegard. Neil Erickson became the first Forest Service ranger in the Chiricahua Mountains, and then later when he was transferred to Walnut Canyon near Flagstaff in northern Arizona, the daughters took over control of the ranch and turned it into one of Arizona's first guest ranches that was active from 1917 until 1970. In 1979, the ranch was sold to the National Park Service, which completes this circle because it was this family who were some of the people who worked so hard to get Chiricahua National Monument established back in 1924. Tours of the ranch are offered on a daily basis depending on the season, so check at the visitor center for times. The home is still furnished with family items dating from the 1870s to the 1970s. One of the very special features in the Fargo Ranch house is the fireplace that was created from stones carved by the Buffalo Soldiers who were stationed here in Bonita Canyon in 1885 and 86. In the backyard, you'll find the original well that Neil dug by hand, the swimming pool to cool off after a hot horseback ride, and a few of the fruit trees that were from the original orchard, and one of the guest houses where you might have stayed.